Well, it's been debated for nearly a decade whether to store liquid petroleum gas in salt mines just off the shores of Seneca Lake. On one side, a company claiming it will bring jobs and prosperity to the area. As our WENY Washington correspondent Kelly Meyer reports, many believe the risk to their drinking water, homes, and farmland is just too great.
Watkins Glen, a small New York village kept alive by the tourists who visit its gorges, surrounding wineries and its shore on Seneca Lake. Just 2 miles north lies an old salt plant. About 8 years ago, Texas-based Crestwood Midstream decided it wanted to convert the abandoned salt mines to storage for millions of barrels of liquid propane and butane, a plan that has caused a rift in this lakefront community, starting an uprising that has led to many locals finding themselves behind bars. Patrick Judson calls the moment he was arrested outside of the gates of Crestwood one of the greatest of his life. Judson's mother and father have also been arrested.
Any risk to the water or to my communities is too much risk.
What started as a small uprising has grown into a movement, with grassroots organizations like Gas Free Seneca working for 5 years to keep Crestwood off its shores.
People recognize that this is bad for our economy, it's bad for the Finger Lakes brand.
Joe Campbell and Yvonne Taylor have been challenging local officials on the proposal and gaining support on resolutions from more than 1 million New Yorkers. They believe Dennis Fagan, the chair of the Schuyler County Legislature, approves the deal for personal gain. His company, Fagan Engineers, which has now been sold to his brother, is building a facility in conjunction with Crestwood. Fagan denies the claims.
We had absolutely no contracts or connection with Crestwood or any of its subsidiaries.
Fagan says the project has been approved by the state geologist, and when we talked with people at Crestwood, they said they wouldn't be investing in the project if they didn't believe it was safe.
Can stuff still happen? Yes, something could happen, but we have all the mitigating things in place to help ensure that everything is safe.
Seneca Lake sees thousands of tourists each year. Restaurants, wineries, and breweries located right at their fingertips. The proposed Crestwood facility is located just behind me, along with those wineries and breweries. Those against the project say it could hurt the tourism industry.
Environmentalist Sandra Steingraber showed me the train trestle where the butane would be carried by train to Crestwood's facility, crossing right over the busy Watkins Glen State Park. She's urging the EPA to get involved, citing the dangers of the project and to the drinking water, a risk seen in the high-profile Flint water crisis, or the risk to communities as seen in the Porter Ranch, California gas leak.
First thing that anyone's going to see when they would Google Seneca Lake would be what they see when they Google Porter Ranch, California.
Sandra says the group We Are Seneca Lake is known internationally, recognized at this year's Paris Climate Conference. Winemaker Richard Rainey says it isn't just the LPG story that's gaining overseas attention, it's their wine. His winery Forge Cellars now ships their Rieslings to France. A worldwide reputation he worries will be tarnished if the deal goes through.
We don't get to do this over again. If we contaminate the lake, if we contaminate the views, it's pretty hard to roll that back.
There are winemakers that are for the project, but supporters say they're afraid to speak out for fear of losing customers. Others have been silenced. In the town of Reading, the town board refused to take comment when asked if it was about LPG.
Every month they come in, it was the same things over and over and over again. And finally he said enough was enough.
Reading Town Supervisor Gary Conklin says he sees the growth that could come to the region. Other politicians, like State Senator Tom O'Mara, say the decision is up to the DEC, but it's long overdue.
Dragging these things out doesn't help anybody, doesn't help the community, doesn't help those that are in support of the project or those that are opposed to the project.
While they wait, the fight for the Finger Lakes continues. For Patrick Judson, it's a fight that goes deeper than the vines, to a community he believes is worth fighting for.
In that greater sense, it has brought a lot of people together.
Reporting in Watkins Glen, I'm Kelly Meyer.